Stranger Things was almost called Montauk. And that name, it comes from a real place in New York, where people claim the US government was doing some seriously dark stuff to children. You know the vibe of the show: secret labs, nosebleeds, and government agents in vans. But the question is, how much of that is actually fiction? Because if you dig into the history, you realize the Duffer Brothers didn't just pull Hawkins' lab out of thin air. They based it on a legend that might be true. So let's go down the rabbit hole. First off, you gotta understand the headspace of the Cold War. It wasn't just about nukes, it was a race for the human mind. The US and the Soviets were paranoid that the other side was developing mind control weapons. And that paranoia birthed Project MKUltra. This isn't a conspiracy theory, by the way. This is history. From the 50s to the 70s, the CIA was drugging unsuspecting Americans with LSD to see if they could wipe their memories or program them like robots. Now, officially, the CIA director ordered all the files destroyed in 1973. But here's the kicker: about 20,000 documents survived because they were misplaced in financial records building. Those files proved the government was willing to drug civilians, use isolation tanks, and break people psychologically just to see what happened. And that brings us to Long Island. At the very tip of Long Island, there's a place called Camp Hero. It's dominated by this massive, creepy radar tower. Officially, it was just part of the coastal defense system. It shut down in '81. But according to a guy named Preston Nichols, the shutdown was just a cover. Nichols wrote a book claiming that underneath that radar tower, there was a massive underground facility. He says he worked there on something called the Montauk Project. The goal? To weaponize psychic abilities. Nichols claims they built something called the Montauk Chair, basically a psychic amplifier. A test subject would sit in the chair, and whatever they visualized would manifest in reality. If they thought of a pencil appeared. If they thought of a monster, well, you see where this is going. This is where the Stranger Things connection gets hard to ignore. In the show, Eleven is a kid with a shaved head, raised in a lab, dunked in sensory deprivation tanks to boost her remote viewing powers. According to the Montauk legends, the project used runaways, known as the Montauk Boys, for the exact same thing, breaking them down psychologically to unlock superpowers. The legend says that on August 12th, 1983, a psychic in the Montauk chair panicked and manifested a literal monster from his subconscious. It wrecked the facility, and the scientists had to smash the equipment to close the dimensional rift. A monster, a rift, the year 1983. Sound familiar? That is literally the plot of season 1. So, is it real? Look, scientifically, there's zero physical proof. No underground bunker has ever been found at Camp Hero, no magical chair. But here's why this story still messes with people. We know MK Ultra happened. We know the government has done sketchy experiments on people before. So when you hear about Montauk, it doesn't sound impossible, it just sounds like the next logical step. Maybe Stranger Things isn't just a fun sci-fi show. Maybe it's a reminder that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Let me know in the comments, do you think the Montauk Project was real, or is it just a campfire story? If you enjoy documentary-style deep dives like this, you'll probably like what's coming next. Catch you in the next one.